religious here right now. And I think it's one of you that doesn't think I'm religious enough. A lot of that going around anyway. And you asked me, Don, why don't you talk about heaven more? I mean, heaven is part of the Christian tradition. And I was kind of taken aback because I really don't know much about heaven because I haven't been there. And I'm not anxious to get there anytime soon. So speaking of heaven, my son Quentin had his wisdom teeth pulled Monday, all 4 of them. And since it was kind of surgery, they gave him happy juice. And he went under. And then after he was done, the doctor said, would you go into this room where he is and just hang in there with him until the happy juice wears off? So I went in there, and Quentin starts talking to me like a Baptist preacher. He goes, Dad, I just saw Mom. And she's in heaven, looks good, misses you, misses me, and it's okay. And I also saw Ghost. Ghost I had 25 years ago. You never met. Sorry, Dad, I saw Ghost, and he looks good. And I also saw Adam Alsott. I said, Adam died 25 years ago. You're 16. Doesn't matter. Adam misses you, and he likes the fact that you talk about him all the time, and that's nice. And then our friend Jack, who was in the hospital a year ago in Milwaukee, and he died, I saw Jack, and he says hi. And I'm thinking to myself, well, number one, Quentin hasn't talked that much to me in 16 years. Has never been that friendly. And I asked the doctor, possibly to get a little of this happy juice to take home with me? It'd be kind of nice. It's good stuff. And I don't know what to make of that experience. But it got me thinking a little bit about heaven. And I don't mean to get too theological on you. But you see, heaven is a word in the Bible that basically means to be whole. It means to feel like you're with God. And my guess is that most of us have some moments in our life when we feel close to God, when we feel that spiritual connection between yourself and this higher power. Maybe you're walking on a nature path. Maybe you're simply carrying your clubs on a golf course. Maybe you're in a boat in the middle of Lake Michigan. Maybe you do a random act of kindness for somebody, and when you do that random act, the person just makes you feel like the most important person in the world. I'm all sure we have those moments when there's a connection between you and God. Maybe you're coaching a team or leading a band or a choir, and you have one of those performances when everything simply comes together and people go crazy. Maybe it's a moment like that where you feel that connection between yourself and that spiritual power. On the other hand, no matter how strong your faith may be, or mine, we probably have those moments when we feel disconnected from God. Maybe you feel separated. Maybe you feel like God's not listening. Maybe you wonder, why is this happening to me or somebody I love? We all have those doubts when you feel forsaken and alone. And that's what hell means. Because hell is a word from the Bible that means separated. And when they talked about hell in the Bible, it's when the Israelite people felt separated from God when they were in exile. And we all have those kinds of experiences. And so I guess I talk about heaven and hell more than I thought. But I also believe that there is something on the other side. And happy juice or no happy juice, I listened to what Quentin said the other day in that back room. And maybe without even knowing it, he gave me a taste of what heaven could be like. A place where people stand tall. A place where things like Alzheimer's and ALS and cancer have no more power. A place where we become reunited with the memories and the spirits of people who have gone before. Sometimes when we have those moments and talk about heaven, we kind of say crazy things. I remember when we had Jude's service here 3.5 years ago. And after the service was over, I just wanted to go out in the back parking lot and just kind of be alone for a minute. And one of my buddies comes up to me and he puts his hand on my shoulder and he says, Don, I know this is a tough time, but you do know that Jude's in a better place. And I said, wait a minute. Had a good life? She had me. And he said, like I said, Jude's in a better place, you know. But there is something on the other side. Who knows what it is? But somehow, some way, when you have those moments, when you feel that connection to something bigger than you, that to me is just a little chunk of heaven on this earth before we get there. You know, last Thursday and Sunday, we had the love bucket for Vern, and I simply said, you know, they're going through some tough times. Would you mind putting some money in the love bucket that we could help? And that's what kindness is all about. Kindness is about reaching out in ordinary moments to make one person's life a little bit better. And kindness has power. Will kindness stop the shootings in Chicago? I doubt it. Will kindness make countries like Iraq and Iran be more peaceful? I doubt it. But you know something? You have taught me so much about grace and kindness because, you know, I just said, let's help Vern out. And then on Tuesday, Alan and I went to Vern's house with $1,000. You have taught me so much about what it means to be kind. What it means to be kind without even noticing what we do for somebody else. You know, when the human spirit and God's spirit come together, that's what kindness is all about. Because that collision of God's spirit and your spirit is what makes us reach out to make the life better for somebody else. I do not know exactly what and where heaven is. But whenever there's a random act of kindness, I know in that moment, heaven lives right there. Amen. If you're able to, please rise for the creed. It's on page 105.